Hey there, my creeping creepers! Welcome back to night 10, ever closer to that big night. Tonight is about a return to the double feature, a return to the exploitation of holiday tradition, and a return of things that go bump. So, get ready for a set of sequel tales sure to expand your evening in more ways than one, with a little tale that I like to call My Name is Vengeance, and CharlieBlackmoore's sequel, Bag o' Bones 2, Legend of Shilo.
As the branches slapped against my face like whips, my friends yelling for me to keep up from somewhere in front of me, concealed by a veil of shadow, I marveled at the sensation of extreme fear and how it can help recall information that you didn't know you retained. I'd only been out this far into the woods one time before, and that was during the day. Now, we were scrambling to abscond in the pitch black, the only flashlight having broken when dropped to the ground only moments ago. I had no idea if that thing was following us, but it didn't have to be. The vivid image resolute in my mind made sure that the thing was with me with each and every stride, no matter how fast I ran. My friends thought it would be a great idea to head out into the woods on a Halloween night and play a prank on an old hermit woman who is said to live deep within. People say she's a witch. I've seen the house, once, that one other time of being out here. But I never saw her, or even any kind of indication that something lived in that rickety little shack. But whatever that thing was, that monstrous pale form that leaped from behind the trees, causing Mike to drop the flashlight, it didn't look like any witch or old crone that I'd ever seen. It stood on hind legs, if you could even call them that. Its forelimbs seemed more like snakes than arms, and its pale flesh was leathery and flat, like snake skin without scales. The monster was inhumanly tall and awkwardly shaped, but within a few more minutes of frantic running, we had finally made it to the edge of the tree line, the edge of our town with various houses in sight, Halloween decorations creating a dazzling display of color and shadows that seemed to play off one another. However, stopping to catch my breath, I looked over at Ian, confused as to what had happened to Mike, where he had gone. Ian said that he had been with us the whole time. I had heard nothing following us. But I knew that thing had taken him anyway. For Mike's doomed fate was in that single phrase that the monster hissed at us, causing us to turn and run to begin with. An ethereal and unnatural voice speaking words of dread I have only now come to truly understand.
I am vengeance.
Shilo Goldsmith, the founder of Shilo's Grove, was a middle-class man who lived in the 1800s when one day he suddenly became the wealthiest man in all the land. Some say that he struck a deal with the devil and agreed upon the completion of a ritual. Shilo would take one life in exchange for what he desired, yet others say that he struck gold whilst digging in his backyard, when in fact he had inherited the money from his ancestors, those who had passed before him. Shilo was 29 at the time, which was when the rumors about him began. It is said that Shilo was a cruel man who was driven to success by his greed that dragged everyone else down and made them miserable just to get to the top. He founded the town of Shilo's Grove with the blood money that he obtained from said ancestors. Mr. Goldsmith became the meanest man in town. His cruelty knew no bounds. He became ill with a virus, one that he had obtained from his extracurricular activities, and one that couldn't be cured, as they had no idea what it actually was. He became ill to the point that he was bedridden. His next of kin hanged around him like vultures. and they were waiting on him to die. And he knew that. Around the time that Shilo's disease was taking its toll on him, there had been a string of grave robberies. It was on the night of Hallows' Eve, a holiday that Shilo had loved so much. Shilo, angered by the disrespect from people within his town, and as mean as he was, vowed to haunt the land should he die before nature could take him. He vowed to haunt anyone who dared disturb the graves within the very town that he had worked so hard to build. He vowed to leave a bag of bones on the bed of anyone who dared to enter the cemetery on All Hallows' Eve.
Do not enter the cemetery on All Hallows' Eve, for if you do, Shilo will leave a bag of bones in your bed that night.
The legend of Shilo's Grove has been just that, a legend. The 3-century-old legend was one that a young man was hell-bent on disproving. That young man was me, and that happened exactly 1 year ago. The legend is said that if you receive a bag of bones, then you will suffer from hallucinations, that you will have exactly 1 year to live before you end up like Shilo did. The hallucination started 3 hours after I received the bag of bones last year. The voices started about 4 months after that. The raspy, wicked voice of Shilo has haunted me for 363 days. Tomorrow is All Hallows' Eve. The hallucinations are getting stronger, and my family has been missing for 3 weeks.
Wait, wasn't that story about...
No, kid, it's a different Shilo. But what's not different is that this Fear Fest continues with night 11 of the 13 days, right here tomorrow. Don't miss out.
Do not enter the cemetery on All Hallows' Eve.